So I'm chilling in my backyard here in the apocalyptic land of East Van. A few hours ago, I was walking up to a chiropractic appointment on the Drive, Commercial Drive, the artistic artery of Vancouver, and I saw a lot of really brilliant signage and a lot of very creative costuming and performance art. See, the Olympic torch was planning to walk up the Drive all the way to First or something like this. And I saw brilliant signs like, I'd rather have a gold medal in housing, speaking of our housing crisis here, actually a nationwide housing crisis we have in Canada, and some wonderfully clad, red-clad Olympic torch bearers or mock torch bearers that had a sign, beautiful heart-shaped sign with weird insignia around it saying something like "Olympics make me seethe and writhe" or something like this. Brilliant performance art, you know, some stilt walkers, a lot of people in costumes, a lot of strange skulls. And there was also a large protester presence, steampunks and street punks and anarchists. And the anarchists actually effectively blocked Commercial Drive at Venables and Commercial. So the torch was diverted up Clark Street. Clark is an industrial, lame-ass street. I don't even like to walk up it. It's so filled with trucks and noise and dirt. The anarchist street punk presence effectively blocked the torch from being run up the Drive, which is, as I mentioned, the cultural artery of Vancouver, where there were many hundreds of people, you know, hundreds of 8-year-old kids waving Canadian flags, hundreds of adults with their children waving Canadian flags. Many of these people that had Canadian flags also had protest signs. There's a lot of mixed feeling about the Olympics here in Vancouver. We have a major housing issue. We have major drug problems that are happening in the city. We have major poverty issues. In BC, we have the highest child poverty rate in Canada. We have the lowest minimum wage in Canada. So there are major issues with poverty here, and questions have been raised as to why we're spending $8 billion on an international party if we have one of the most grotesque poverty rates in Canada. These are valid issues, and a lot of people creatively demonstrated up the Drive. Unfortunately, the street punk, anarchist, radical left protest presence, while I appreciate their sentiment, they actually managed to censor our creative voice on the Drive, I believe. I believe a lot of creativity wasn't seen. A lot of that mixed sentiment that we have here wasn't established. The fact that people are cheering and welcoming the international community to our city and simultaneously protesting the means by which it was done was not evidenced. So, for example, I'm a natural host. I'm very happy that the international community is here. I'm rather not happy that, say, social spending was cut, or that educational funding was cut, or that healthcare funding was cut to do it. So I have mixed reactions. I'm happy that the international community is here, and yet, at the same time, I'm not happy about the way we went about getting it. Unfortunately, the creative demonstration of this mixed sentiment was effectively self-censored by a lot of self-congratulatory and somewhat violent protesters. I think it's wrong to call yourself a cultural Olympiad when in fact you cut all of the artistic funding from the province to hold a sports event. I think it's wrong to use the word cultural Olympiad if you just cut all of your cultural funding. And a lot of other people on the Drive thought so too, and when they wrote that down in a big sign with performance art demonstrations, I think the point would have got across. Unfortunately, none of that was seen, and rather than coming through the cultural artery of Vancouver, the torch went up the industrial by road.